So yeah, I've been sitting here for a while staring at the footage, and I just can't seem to come up with a voiceover to make the intro somewhat interesting. So yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and put on some jazz and we'll go from there. Hey, welcome back to another episode on my Minecraft Survival Let's Play series. So, I did a thing. I actually was in a different place for the night and I wasn't able to record, but I also wasn't able to sleep. So I just jumped on here, I started building. I wanted to create a build, something that I've been thinking about building for a while now. And my plan was just to do the basic floor plan and then bring you guys in and kind of explain my process, the thought process behind it, or maybe do a time lapse or do something to make content out of it. But I kind of got carried away in the process and I finished it, all of it. So yeah, now it's completely done. But before we show the build, I want to show you guys this. So I did finish the sugarcane fields and it looks really good actually. But yeah, that's awesome. But I didn't do anything else in this area because we ran out of mud and that's my bottleneck right now. I'm still doing it manually. So placing down a dirt block and then a water bottle and doing that for each piece individually, which is just not great at all. So that's actually something that we're going to be doing in today's episode. We're going to be building a mud farm over in that area over there. But yeah, I did finish planting the sugarcane. That's awesome. So now whenever we need sugarcane, we just can come in here, gather a bunch, and bonjour. And yeah, let's actually see how much we get from one harvest. Alright, cool. So we get a little over 5 stacks, which is plenty. But yeah, anyway, now let's go look at our build. I think it looks really, really good. Yeah, so we need a bee sanctuary. That's something, the bees that we have in here, I mean, I really like having them in here in my storage system, but they keep flying out. They keep getting stuck on the trapdoors and stuff. They keep flying up the stairs and out the window and stuff like that. And I think there's maybe like 2 left in here. I have to keep breeding them and it's a little bit annoying. And also I can't really harvest these that well. So that's why I made this little thing. Yeah, I wanted to keep it the same kind of vibe as what we already have planned out. So the same color palette and I really like this dome structure, so I just kept that in with this, and it kind of looks like some kind of cathedral, or I don't know. It looks pretty cool though. As you can see, I went with the kind of like the brown palette with the mud and the brown. I used sandstone here, wanted to tie that in with our build over here, but also just to brighten it up. And then if we come around the back, that's where we have this gradient. So when we're looking from afar, we can see, yeah, this kind of blends in with the rest of the cherry biome, and I think that looks pretty cool. We can see we have our little doors here, so the bees can escape. And bonjour! It's so magical in here. I love the particles. I think they add so much. But yeah, maybe we can add a few more glow berries in these sections over here. It also looks like I forgot to put slabs. But yeah, I really like it. I think the color combination just works. With the birch and the bamboo, I think that just looks really good together. Now this is not automated at all. There's no redstone. This is all manual. And I'm okay with that for now. We will eventually in the future automate everything and, you know, attach everything to redstone, but for now I kind of want to keep it like this because it gives me a reason to visit this place. You know, if everything was automated, we have redstone machines that kind of do all the hard work for us, there's no reason to come back here. And that's something that I want to do for this series. I want all my buildings to be unique. I want them to all have a purpose, and I want there to be a purpose for me to visit them. And so I'm probably not going to be doing all the big redstone farms right away. They'll happen down the road. If I do build any, then they're probably going to be semi-automatic and still require me to be doing stuff. But yeah, I really like this. We have these trap doors in front of the beehives. If they're closed, the bees can still enter their hives, but they can't get out. But if you open them, they can pass through freely, as you just saw. And this just helps me so that I can move them around, and yeah, it just makes it a little bit easier. But yeah, I think it looks really good. What do you guys think? Also, I don't remember if I recorded any clips of this, but I did build a small basalt generator down here. Nothing fancy. I just have, you know, you have your packed ice on one side, or the blue ice on one side, soil on the bottom and lava on the other side, and that causes basalt to form in the middle. Now I don't have I have efficiency on this one. Okay, so I'll go a little bit faster. And also to prevent a little bit of loss, I do have, I believe, 3 minecart hoppers pushed into this block, so that way instead of, you know, getting pushed into lava, they get pulled down immediately and then put in here. So that's awesome. We're going to be using a lot of this for yeah, one of our next projects. And in the last episode, we planned out where our path is going to go. Unfortunately, we're going to need a lot of materials for that, and that includes mud. So that's why we have to do our mud farm first. And so yeah, I decided that I kind of want to build that over in this direction. Now I was thinking with like a mud building, that would be cool if we have that next to the river. And so that's what I decided to do over here. We have this river, it's really deep. Like, it's really steep over here, so we're gonna have to do some terraforming, because right now it's kind of precarious to try to get down there. That's where I've been getting the majority of my squid from, for all the ink sacs that I need. But yeah, so I think having a mud farm right up here on this ridge would look really cool. We are gonna have to terraform this area. I was thinking of just having it all at the same level, and then just filling it up with dirt. Then we can add, you know, small hills and elevation changes later. So I do have some resources already gathered. Yeah, we have a bunch of redstone for the main component, and then we also have some blocks to put around it. And we have a little bit more here, and yeah, a bunch of glass. I still haven't been able to find a desert, but I did find a few beaches, and I dug up a bunch of sand, made a few turtles homeless, and it was great. So I'm gonna go ahead, I'm going to start building the redstone components. Then I'll bring you guys in, kind of show you how it works. I mean, it's nothing fancy. I'm sure you guys have seen mud farms. I'm not going off of any tutorials or anything, but I know how the basics work. You know, you have a dispenser and a water bottle and a piece of dirt, and boom, you have mud. And I'm also going to be using piston feed tapes to kind of push it over and also make it a little bit different. So let me go ahead, let me build that, and then I'll bring you guys in. And there we have it. All right, so this is inspired by Bee-autiful. I believe he made this type of farm in one of his survival worlds, where instead of just placing and breaking the block at the same time, it gets pushed down to a piston feed tape, brought somewhere else to be, dug up later. Yeah, I just wanted something different than just the typical mud farm that everyone creates. This is a little bit more fun. And yeah, I think it's going to look really cool when we put a build around it. But yeah, mud farms are really, really simple. But in case you don't know how they work, let me just show you. So right here, we just have a simple circuit. We have a dispenser here filled with water bottles. And yeah, we have an hopper, which is trying to pull items out of this dispenser. But you can see it's only full of glass bottles, so it's only going to allow glass bottles to come in here. So if, for example, we do that, you can see it's starting to drain and go in here. Now these will then also push into this dispenser, so that's why we needed so many glass bottles. If we don't have these, then all these water bottles will just disappear, and that wouldn't be good. So yeah, and then right here we just have a simple circuit. We have our power source on this side, and once we place a solid block right where this air gap is, this power will go through and the circuit will activate. If we put a block here, a couple things will happen. Firstly, this dispenser will get powered, shooting a water bottle into this block if it's dirt, and then the empty glass bottle goes down here. Then this line will get activated, and more specifically, this redstone dust will power this dispenser, causing a glass bottle to shoot into this water stream, which fills it up, and then it just comes back into this top one, just makes a loop. This will continue traveling all the way upwards where there's a little bit of a delay. So once the mud is converted, after a small delay, this piston will activate, pushing it downwards. And we can actually see that in real time. And you can see the water bottles floating up the water column here. And yeah, just like that. So let's go down and look at how the rest of the thing looks. So down here we just have a very simple piston feed tape. And we are using the same technique as we did up there. We're using a circuit. So we have our power source right here. And once we place a block in front of this piston, the power is able to go through, activates this redstone dust, which powers this block, which in turn powers the piston. So we can see that it causes it to push. And as you see there, we have then a row of pistons here, and at the end we have an observer. Now every time something changes right in front of the little eyes, it gives off a really short pulse, which goes into this furnace. This can be any non-movable block. This is just here, so in case there's lag, this doesn't push too far and then cause the entire thing to break. But once there's a block right here, this sends a signal through, which activates this. There's a little bit of a delay because every time the piston head extends, this detects it. So if we didn't have a delay, it would just be a clock just constantly going back and forth and back and forth. So after a short delay, then this line powers and pushes all the blocks over. So we can see that if we just add 2 more blocks, and boom, nice. And on this side, it's the same exact thing. Once it comes over to this side, then we have this observer here. Same signal. This is a 1 tick, 2 ticks, and then this signal comes all the way up here. I don't have it on me right now, but I am gonna put a light source right here, just because redstone is kind of laggy, and especially with all the lighting updates. So if I put a light there, then that should reduce a little bit of the lighting lag, but this is only going to be activating every so often, so it's not going to be too bad. But yeah, and then every time a block comes here, the entire thing gets pushed down by 1. And pistons have a push limit of 8, I believe. So yeah, we're gonna have a lot of mud. This is what, a 7x7, so that's 49 times 8. I mean, you can do the math. That's, yeah, we're gonna be good with that. So we can just be upstairs converting, then we can come downstairs and just power our way through this, get a bunch of mud at once. But yeah, that's basically it. I mean, like I said, it's pretty simple. But yeah, so let's go ahead, let's get a building around here, make this place look a little bit better, and then I will bring you guys back in to show you what I've done. And there we have it. I think it looks pretty good. Now obviously we are keeping up with the initial color palette that we have for this entire area. But I did change things around a little bit just so this building has its own unique feel to it. But I am also playing with depth. As you can see, the facade is 2-3 blocks deep. But yeah, I think it looks really cool, and I think it has a really cool feel to it. Obviously the surrounding area is not complete, it's just a floating platform, but I'm not entirely sure what I want to do with this area just yet. Because we do have this river that does lead into the ocean, it would be cool to have some kind of harbor here. The problem is this is really, really deep, so it would be challenging, but doable. But yeah, I'm not sure if I want to have like a river flowing through the land, coming by this building, and then, you know, a nice little waterfall or something. That would be a lot of work, but that would look cool. Or if we just go for like a more mechanical feel, we have like a water wheel and some mechanical bits kind of pumping the water up into the building so that it can be used with the dirt to convert and formed into mud. Not quite sure yet. But yeah, let's go ahead and let's take a look at the inside. And another thing is I don't want to completely cover up the redstone because I think being able to see the redstone in your builds looks really cool, and it also gives the building a little bit more charm, I think. But yeah, it's kind of cool that you can just peek in here and just see the top of all the pistons. But if we go in here, I didn't do any of the interior, but I did go ahead and divide up the rooms. I'm just using the same trapdoor walls that I used in my starter house. But yeah, we have this room back here, this main room where we have the machine interface, and we have a little bit of space up here. I'm not sure what we could put up here, but if we need a little bit more room, we have it. But you might have noticed that we did add a lamp and a few more other redstone components over here, and that's because I did add a little bit more redstone to our farm here, because if we are on top adding dirt, we need to know whenever this collection bay is full and when we have to come down here and collect it all. So I just have a really simple circuit here. So whenever the mud gets pushed down on top of this redstone torch, it diverts the power into the repeater, which then goes up this redstone torch tower. The power then diverts and goes into this piston. Right now, as you can see, it's not activated, but if we go ahead and just place this here, you can see it extends, and this just prevents us from adding any more dirt into the farm, just basically turns the farm off. You may have heard the bell. This redstone torch tower also goes all the way up into the main building. So now we have our light right here, so now we have a visual cue that, you know, the farm's turned off, and we also have the power being diverted into the bell, which just gives us a small audio cue that, you know, we need to go down and collect everything. I also added this dropper right here, so whenever we're placing dirt, I'm just using the redstone line that comes out of here to spit out a dirt block, so that way, yeah, our inventory will constantly be fed. So let me go ahead and throw down some dirt, and then we will see how much mud we get after one harvest. up. Oh, I guess it's finished. Alright. So let's go ahead down. And yep. Nice. So now we have a giant cube of mud. Let's go ahead and see how much efficiency 3. Let's see how much this yields. My inventory is empty of mud. Yeah, let's see. Alright, so we do have, we need to like add some walls and stuff so the mud can't jump out. I think that's all of it. But, yeah, about 5.5, is that right? Yeah, 3, 5, yeah, about 5.5 stacks. That's pretty good actually. Alright, awesome. And then I think that means we have to, yeah, and we just have to break this. And then the machine resets itself. But yeah, now we have our little mud farm in our world, and that is awesome. So now we're going to be able to get a bunch of new building blocks and stuff like that, and yeah, I'm really happy about that. However, there is a second ingredient that we need to make packed mud, at least. And if you are observant, you may notice that we have added a new farm on our little farm plateaus up here. Since we do need a lot of wheat in order to turn the mud into packed mud, I went ahead and I planted another field. Now we do have like a medium-sized field up there and a few smaller ones, but that's not cutting it, especially since my primary food source right now is bread. I don't think this is going to be enough. I think we're going to have to plant 1 or 2 more, but then all of our packed mud needs are going to be completely covered. So that's really cool. I do have a few more of these little plateaus planned out. I also have like this really cool staircase that's going to be turned into mud when I craft some more, but it leads up to the sugarcane fields. And I really like this pathway that we have, kind of like overlooking all the plateaus beneath us. I think it's going to look really cool when it's all finished. Also, oh, that looks so good. I really like the way that turned out. Now that we have our mud problem taken care of, we can now start filling out all of these exteriors, all these facades and stuff. So that is really, really awesome. I'm really happy about that because I just want to get all that done. However, more importantly, we can finally finish this project, the pathway, which is something I've been wanting to finish for a while now. Yeah, because I have to keep breaking my ankles every time I jump off this cliff. But I think now we have all the materials for it. We now have brick taken care of. I'm going to have to go gather some dirt because of all of the various terraforming projects that have completely depleted my reserves. But yeah, we should have everything now. So yeah, let me go ahead and gather some materials and then I will get building. I'm probably not going to do a time lapse of this just because it's pretty late and I just want to grind this out. And also I don't have a second account or any kind of third-party application, so when I do these time lapses that you've seen in this video, they're pretty rudimentary. I place down a few blocks, then I run down and I run all the way over there, then I pillar up a giant pillar of scaffolding, and then I open my F3 menu, and then I try to get the coordinates just pixel perfect, and then I take a screenshot, and then I have to run all the way back down, then I place down 3 more blocks, and like I said, it's late. I'm tired. I don't want to do that. So I'm just going to go ahead. I'm going to grind this out and I will bring you guys back in when I have the path finished. And 3, 2, 1. All right. Oh, I think that turned out really cool. Now I didn't finish all of the facade and all of the gardens, especially on this side because I'm not entirely sure what I want to do over here. But we did get the majority of the path laid out, which I think is really exciting because now we have some cohesion going on. But yeah, I did use deep slate and basalt for the path because I think it gives kind of like a dirty, grungy feel to it, which I think just looks really cool. It is maybe a little dark, but since most of our buildings in the area are going to be more of a lighter color, I think the contrast is going to go along pretty well. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to continue this palette throughout the district, and as we add more buildings and more structures and stuff, I'll chip away little by little, adding more road, and yeah, it's going to look really cool, I think, but it is going to be a long-term project. However, I also have been working on a little something down here, so let's go ahead, let's jump down there, and we can take a closer look at this. So yeah, I created a small little redstone contraption over here. Now, I do know that there are third-party applications and resource packs that can show you how fast your horse is in blocks per second, but I'm too lazy to download one of them, so I just made my own. Now, if you are familiar with Hermitcraft, I forget who, either B-dubs or Etho, created a system somewhat like this, where they basically just measured how fast the horses were with sticks per second. Now, I don't remember how they set up their system. They probably showed it in a video, I don't know. But yeah, I just kind of made my own. But it starts over here with this button. Once we hit it, it's going to cause a small delay. After the delay is over, this gate will open and the horse can then run through these cobwebs. At the same time, this piston is going to activate, pushing this observer in front of the other, and because they're facing into one another, it's going to create a clock, and every time this updates, every time this pulses, it's going to shoot one item out of this dropper into this hopper, which is currently locked by this redstone torch. When we get to the very end, we're going to walk over this pressure plate, which is going to activate this piston, pushing the observer back into its initial phase, breaking the clock, and yeah, however many items are left in this hopper will correlate to how fast that specific horse is. So let's go ahead, let's reset the system, and let's test it on this guy. Alright, so we're going to line ourselves up. I'm not going to sprint, but I'm just going to hold down W. And when we get to the end, boom, it will stop. And then we can check out how many points we have. And 34 baguettes. Awesome. Yeah, so I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to refill the system. Now, this system is not perfect, just with, you know, the different delays and stuff. Sometimes we might get one or two higher or lower, but it's good enough for what we're testing. So let's go ahead, let's do it again. Again, we're not going to be sprinting, but we're just going to keep moving forward. And boom. Alright, neat. And let's check out. Yeah, 34. Okay, cool. So this is pretty sweet. Now we're going to be able to kind of determine, categorize each of our horses based off of the different stats. We're also going to measure how high they jump. And yeah, I'm going to be doing a lot of breeding. I'm not going to be able to show that all on camera because it's going to be very boring and very monotonous, but I will bring you guys in when there are some interesting moments. I'm also going to be wanting to breed up some mules because they also have the added benefits of having a chest in the back, which allows for extra storage. So when we're out in the world exploring and stuff, that's going to be very, very helpful since we still don't have shulkers in the early game. But I'm going to be doing all of that off camera probably. However, next I want to go ahead and check out our stables, which we want to build. So let's head up there. But yeah, I've mentioned several times that I want to have a stable up here. We are going to have a normal stable down here in the valley, but for our best horses, we can keep them up in here in our basement. I already dug out a little bit, but yeah, we don't have that much room because we have our floor right above us. And especially over here, it's pretty low, so we're going to have to be pretty creative. But I think this is more than enough space to do something cool. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to start building a little bit, and then I'll bring you guys back when I have some progress. And cut. Oh, alright. you. Don't need you. Eric? Boom, boom, boom. Oh, there you are. Can you do something down here? Yeah, I told them that we're gonna make a stables for the horses and stuff like that. But yeah, I don't have any ideas. Yeah, alright, awesome, thanks. What do you mean? What do you mean inflation? Oh, this is robbery. This is fine, yeah. Oh. Oh, the nerve on this guy. Boom. And you gotta be kidding me. It better be worth it. Yeah, there you go. Happy? Yeah, alright. Just get it done as quick as you can because I want to start the next clip. No? Yeah, alright. Alright, thanks. Ugh. Alright, so I went ahead and I started breeding up some of the horses, and so far it's actually been going pretty well. So this guy right here, this is our OG, the first horse that we tamed. And this guy is a 34 baguette, so he's pretty speedy. However, his jump is much to be desired. I think he can clear, yeah, he can clear a 3, but nothing more than that, which is pretty strong, but yeah, we're definitely looking for something a little bit better. But I also found this white horse over by the villagers over there. Now, he is noticeably slower. He's only a 36 baguette, but he is able to clear a 3.5. Or, yep. Alright, there we go. So, progress. So I went ahead and I bred them up, and I was able to get this little guy over here, which I absolutely love his coloring. He needs like a good name. I'm thinking charcoal or something. But yeah, so this guy, I mean, he's a speedy little fellow. Let's test him out. I think he's a 31. But let's see. And then we can check. Yeah, 31. So that's considerably better than the parents. And his jump is also fairly decent. I think he can also do a 3.5. Yep. Alright, awesome. So yeah, I'm going to continue breeding them up and continue getting some good stats and then, you know, breeding them together and stuff like that. You guys probably know how it goes. This is the first time I've ever done anything with horses in Minecraft, so I'm actually really excited about this whole process. However, it's probably boring to most people, but I find it really cool and intriguing. So yeah, I'm going to continue doing that because I want to get some pretty good horses. I've also been breeding up some donkeys because, like you can see, on donkeys we can add a chest in the back, which allows for extra storage, which is going to be very helpful when we're out and about in the world exploring and stuff. Now these guys, I haven't bred in any kind of stats or anything like that. I'll be doing them after I get a very decent horse. Then we can breed the horse with the donkey to get a mule. I believe mules are sterile, so you can't actually, you know, breed them anymore. But once we get some good stats, then we'll have a mule that can run really fast, jump really high, and we'll have a lot of storage. So I'm really excited about that. Anyway, I did receive word that the stables, which I completely made all by myself, are finished. So let's go ahead and let's check that out. Alright, so let's go ahead and take a look at what we got. And I really like the way that this turned out. Yeah, we have a very rustic vibe going on. But yeah, we have all these little compartments for our horses. I am using this trick where we have carpet on top of berry bushes. For whatever reason, horses don't want to go on top of berries. Just something written into their code. So it's pretty nice. We can just come in here, drop them off, and it's pretty seamless. I mean, it's not completely invisible, but it's overall pretty clean. We don't have to mess with trapdoors or anything, and he will just stay in there. So yeah, I think we have, how many do we have? 5? 5 compartments, 4 different horses, so 5 of our best horses can fit in here. And yeah, I think it looks really, really cool. Now, I wasn't able to completely cover like the basalt generator, also the floor from the floor above us is sticking through. I did try to put trapdoors or slabs on here, but it just looked off, so I'm just keeping it the way it is. But yeah, I really like the way it turned out, and yeah, I also really like the perspective, because I think this ceiling is half a slab taller than this one, and also these pillars come in by 1, so it makes the hallway seem a lot longer than it actually is, and so that's kind of a cool forced perspective kind of thing. And yeah, we also have a little bit of storage over here where we can put all the saddles and armor and stuff like that. I also cleaned up a little bit up here, just made it look a little bit nicer. Yeah, I added another row of ferni, and so yeah, I think it looks pretty good. Everything is starting to come together a little bit, and yeah, what do you guys think? So yeah, the next step is going to be getting a bunch of horses bred up, which I'm pretty excited about actually. I'm gonna go ahead and do that off camera though, just because that's pretty monotonous. But I'm actually really looking forward to it. Like I said, I've never actually played with horses in Minecraft before, so I'm really interested in getting the best stats and all of that. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and do that in between episodes, and then next episode, I'm actually not sure what we're gonna do next episode. I guess it'll be a surprise for both of us. So yeah, that's all the time we have for this episode. If you made it this far into the video, thank you so much for watching. It really means a lot to me. And if you've enjoyed this video and are enjoying this series thus far, then maybe consider hitting the subscribe button. You can always change your mind at any time. I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.